I am here because I believe that each of you can do the impossible. And today, we're going to talk about how. I want everyone to stand up. All right, raise your hand if you've been on the mission for less than 6 months. Raise your hand. All right. So you and you, come forward. You too. All right. Now I want you to imagine that these bright-eyed, bushy-tailed people are not actually missionaries. They are in your area. Now, we want to help as many people as possible to come unto Christ, right? Of course. So how can we do that when we have limited time? Because if we were to take the time we spend in this training and compare it to the time we spend in your mission, each week would be like 25 seconds. So what we're going to do is we're going to recreate a week in your mission in the next 25 seconds. You ready? So how can we help as many people to come into Christ in 25 seconds or a week? We need to be quick and efficient in the way we invite. You can learn about this in chapter 9 of Preach My Gospel, where it says, teach while you find and find while you teach. But I want to take a moment and make something very clear. Everything we're going to talk about today is founded upon principles in Preach My Gospel, the Lord's inspired playbook. And in Preach My Gospel chapter 9, it urges us to find them who will receive you. Find them who will receive you. And so these people, based on the everyday experiences they're going to have, they will either say yes to your invitation or no. All we can do is invite. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give you 25 seconds, and you need to plan how you're going to come and talk to every single person here. You got to teach while you find and find while you teach. To keep it simple, just invite each person to say, will you follow Jesus Christ? Can you do that? Yeah. If they say they will follow Jesus Christ, I want you to bring him here. This will represent first time coming to church. All right? Okay. Okay, go over there and plan. Now you are the people in their area. You are having everyday experiences. Maybe you're going to bed at night. You're looking up at the stars and you're wondering, is there more to life than what I'm experiencing right now? Maybe you're going to another church and you're wondering, is there something missing? Something more I need to find? Well, based on your experiences, when you meet the missionaries, you'll either say yes or no. And for the sake of this 25-second practice, you will say yes, you will say no. Yes, no, no, no. You two will say no. You two will say yes. Yes, yes, no, no, no. Yes, no, yes. All right, I'll go get them. You only have 25 seconds because you only have a week to help as many people come into Christ as possible. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. All right, time's up. Come on over. All right, elders, you've done a great job. Raise your hand if you've been to church for the first time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You brought 8 people to church. Pretty good. That is huge. All right, now, this is the first step. We've brought people to church. What we ultimately want to do is help these people progress towards a lifelong commitment with Jesus Christ. And so, we need to help them to keep commitments. And we want to help them to get baptized. Can you see the baptism chair? All right? Wonderful. So, we need to help the people that are over here. Here, if you've come to church for the first time, step over here so it feels like there's a bit of a gap. You got to bridge this gap. Now, as we learn in Preach My Gospel, chapter 11, commitments prepare us for keeping covenants. So each missionary lesson, we're inviting people to make commitments, to read the scriptures, to come closer to Christ, to come to church. There are 2 commitments that are very important, and these commitments are also commandments. I'm sure you're already thinking what they are: the word of wisdom and the law of chastity. We need to teach these very soon. I'm looking at a missionary right now who we just taught the law of chastity last night. So we need to help these people to live the word of wisdom and law of chastity early on, because sometimes as you're preparing for baptism, keeping those commandments require a lifestyle change that will take them time. So if we teach it early, we can help them. All right? So we're going to take them from here to here so that we can help them see the end from the beginning, which is baptism. All right? So do you guys feel confident? You're going to help these people come unto Christ? All right. So what are the two things you have to do?
Word of wisdom, love, chastity.
Good. And the third thing is you need to always find new people to teach. All right? Go out there, plan how you're going to talk to all these people. Now, based on your experiences, once again, you will either progress or not. And it's okay if you step away for a second, right? We don't have control over, the agency of others. What we do have control over is our choices, how we will spend our time, our efforts, our energy, trusting in the Lord that he will provide those who are prepared. So, you're going to say yes, you're going to say no. Yes, no, no, yes, no. All right? You're going to say yes, you're going to say yes. All of you are going to say no, you're going to say yes. All you three are no's. Elders, you ready? 25 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. Go, go, go. Quick, quick, quick. Okay, you guys are doing great. You guys are doing really great. So raise your hand if you're coming to church for the first time. Hey, that's a fun experience, right? And raise your hand if you're keeping the word of wisdom and law of chastity. This is awesome. You guys are doing great. And we're always finding new people to teach. Now, something amazing is happening because you guys are creating spiritual momentum. People are keeping commitments. New people are coming to church. And spiritual momentum is like a magnet. It just pulls people in. And so there are two people over here who are experienced disciples. They've been baptized before. We'll talk a little more about that later on in the training about how to help experienced disciples come back. But for right now, I want to choose you. You will come back, and Elder Hanson. So these two are people who have been baptized before. They've already had a calling before. They know how to be a disciple. They've fallen away for a little bit. But because of the spiritual momentum you've created, they've come back. So you can work with them. And this is what we need to do for week 3. So week 1, we brought people to church. Week 2, we helped people keep commitments and brought new people to church. Week 3, you are going to help these people who are keeping commitments to come and get baptized. You're going to help people who have come to church to come here and keep commitments with God. And you're going to always be finding new people to teach. Can you handle it?
Oh, yeah.
All right. You guys go and plan. You're going to say no. You're going to say yes. All right, time. Come on over. Come on over. All right. So let's see. How did this go? Raise your hand if you just got baptized. Awesome. 3 people just came and have committed for a lifelong covenant with God, an eternal covenant, actually. And so now it's important that we help these people to receive the new member lessons. In the Los Angeles mission in 2019, it was reported that those who received the new member lessons within the first year, there was 90% retention. That means for people who receive the new member lessons, they stay strong, they stay active, super important. And then we have this group here. We need to help these people who are keeping commitments to get baptized. We need to help people who are coming to church to keep commitments, right? To word of wisdom, law of chastity. And we're always finding new people to teach. As we do this, we can create a continuous cycle of conversion. You guys may all go sit down. Now, the key to making all of this happen lies in your ability to extend Spirit-led invitations for baptism. So in order for us to help all of these people, we need to help them to see the end from the beginning. And so I'd like to practice Spirit-led invitations for baptism with 2 of you. You 2 are companions, right? Come forward. So come on up. Thank you. So I want to show how a Spirit-led invitation for baptism can be done. And I want you guys to be really comfortable with this. I hope that after this training, you practice this all the time. Practice it every day. Practice it in between doors so that when you are in a lesson and the Spirit is strong, you feel more than confident to invite others to follow Jesus Christ through baptism. So I want you to experience this through the eyes of your friends. So imagine that you are them. Can you think of two people that you're teaching right now? I want to be kind of feeling like I'm teaching real people. You think them? All right, perfect. Imagine for a moment that I am your missionary. I am going to invite you to follow Jesus Christ through baptism. Now, baptism can feel like a really big step, but even great leaps of faith can feel more manageable when we break them down into smaller, simple steps. And I'll show you how this can be done. So, what is your, don't tell me their real name, but make up a name. What is your name?
Adele.
Adele, and your name?
Sarah.
Sarah. Great names. So, Adele and Sarah, imagine I've been teaching you for a little bit, and the Spirit is strong. Now, heaven is a perfect place. In order for us to exist in heaven, we need to be perfect. So how can we who are imperfect people, how can we be made perfect? We need to follow the example of Jesus Christ. Now, Jesus Christ, he was perfect. He had no need of baptism, but he was baptized to show an example for us. And I want you to look really closely at this image because there's three really important things about Christ's baptism. Number one, he was about 30 years old. He knew the difference between right and wrong. Number two, he was baptized in the River Jordan. So he went fully under the water and came fully out. And there's a third detail that a lot of people don't know. But the reason that Jesus Christ was baptized by John the Baptist is because John the Baptist had the proper authority from God. On Jesus Christ's way to be baptized by John the Baptist, he passed a lot of great people, but none of them had this authority from God. Me and my companion, we have the proper authority of God to baptize in his name. So my question for you is, will you follow the example of Jesus Christ and be baptized by one holding the proper authority of God on March 18th?
Yes.
You will? Okay.
Yes.
Wow, I'm so impressed by your faith. Clearly, the Lord has prepared you for this moment. Now, I want you to know this is a process. Right now, we're planting a seed of faith. You're setting a goal with God. But from now until March 18th, we're going to do our part. If you plant a seed and you don't water it and put it in the sunlight, will it grow? In a similar way, we're going to help you to reach this goal. So starting today, we're going to read the scriptures together. You're going to read the scriptures on your own. You're going to come to church a few times. And as you do, you will feel spiritually stronger. And I promise that as you get closer and closer to this day, you will feel more excited. Because excitement is one of the fruits of hope. Now, I know these are a lot of concepts. I know you've set this goal. And so I want to invite you to read Alma chapter 32. It's a great chapter in the Book of Mormon about planting seeds of faith that I feel is so similar to setting goals with God. How did they do? That was so good. You guys just immediately accepted, which is great. Now, what would we do if they're a little concerned? I have a document that I'll be sending out to each of you that addresses like the 10 most common concerns that people have when setting this goal with God to be baptized, so that you have something that the Spirit can provide with you in the moment to say. But when we invite for baptism, there's a beautiful moment when we can understand their needs. So I want to go through this same moment, but imagine that they say no, just so you're prepared. Will you follow the example of Jesus Christ and be baptized by one holding the proper authority of God on March 18th? Okay, and how about you? That's okay. We offer these invitations to give you an opportunity to follow him. And as your your teachers and as those who are here to support you as representatives of Jesus Christ, we'd like to know, what holds you back from setting this goal?
I feel like I just don't know enough yet. I'm just not ready.
Totally understandable. How about you?
I was already baptized for a different church. Why do I need to again?
That's a great question. Is there anything else? No? Okay, that's great. So this is what I would say. Now that we know some of our concerns, we want to come back in future lessons and address those concerns. But for now, even though I know you've been baptized before, even though I know you feel you may not know enough yet, I think it wise to set a goal with God. And I'll tell you why. Because when you set a goal with God, you're planting a seed of faith. You're telling God, I don't know, this doesn't make sense to me. I need it to make sense. But when you plant this seed of faith, you leave space in your heart for God to fill that, for him to fill that with knowledge, for him to fill that with understanding. How would you feel about setting a goal for this day in spite of some of the concerns you have, in the hope that he will resolve your concerns before that day?
If it's a little ways away, yeah.
Okay, and how about you?
Let's do it.
Okay. I promise that as you progress towards this goal and as we continue to teach and understand your needs, please be open with us. Let us know about any concerns you have. We will continue to teach to your needs and help you prepare for this day. Awesome. Thank you all. Are there any questions or concerns about anything I just did? Yes?
What if they say, I've been baptized?
So I have, like I said, I have a list of responses to all of those concerns. That's one of the 10 most common. The great thing is, I like to get into the invitation early on, because before you extend an invitation, a lesson can feel a lot like third person. Oh, I'm learning about your doctrine. As soon as you invite someone to be baptized, the lesson's about them. Now it's about their needs, their concerns. And so when you teach the restoration, for example, and you explain that God had his truth on the earth, it was lost, and now it's been restored, that makes so much more sense when you're listening to it from the eyes of someone who's just been invited to be baptized. As we continue to move forward, I want to impress the importance of finding them who will receive you in all aspects of helping others come unto Christ. Earlier, we talked about finding them who will receive you in regards to people on the street, right? People in their homes. The same is true of our ward lists. Most wards have a large list of people. And in this list of people, we really only know like maybe 10, 15% of those people on that list. And this is church-wide. Everyone has this thing. And what we do is we want to help these people. And so we keep going back to these people. And if we do that, what happens is these people oftentimes get annoyed that we're bothering them over and over again. And we feel like everybody on this ward list is like the 10 to 15% of people that we visit. But that's not true. In any ward list, there's a whole iceberg of people we haven't visited that the Lord is preparing for you. Just like we learned from our leaders. Our job is not to pass judgment, which even I do sometimes, and I shouldn't. Our job is not to convince people to come back to church. Our job is simple. Love others. Share the gospel and invite. It's that simple. And I know of a mission president who taught me a very simple, effective way to help others come unto Christ that are on this vast list that we can help. So I'd like to bring forward two young men. Would you two like to come forward? Come on up. So this is Hunter and Camden. Hunter and Camden. So I want you guys to imagine, I want you to experience this through the eyes of someone who hasn't been to church in a while, all right? I'm going to knock on your door, which is exactly what we're all about to do. So watch this very closely. Hey, I'm Christian. This is my companion, Aaron. We are members of your local church. And look, we get it. You're busy. We're busy. This will only take 5 minutes of your time, but it's really important to us. Is it okay if we come in and say a quick prayer?
Sure, why not?
All right, cool. So we come in. We say a prayer to bring the Spirit. Listen, Hunter, Camden, you are unique in all the world. There's no one else like you. The Lord made you this way for a reason. And I don't know why, but I do know that the Lord has need of you and your talents at this time. Will you heed the call of the Lord?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. You'll be surprised how many people say yes to this question. Now, because you want to come back in full force, and I am so supportive of that. I know the Lord has brought us here for a reason, and I know He will bless you in imaginable ways as you help to build His kingdom as well. The first thing to help you to find your calling, this task that the Lord needs you to do, is to come and partake of the sacrament this Sunday. This Sunday, we're meeting together at 9 a.m., and while we're there, I want you to meet our bishop. Our bishop's a great guy, and we really believe that our bishop is going to pray and ask God where you are needed. And we ask that you come and partake of the sacrament consistently as possible while our bishop finds this task that he needs you to do. Will you do that?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Now, what if they say no?
Then their dad, the bishop's going to hit them.
I'm glad we could joke with you guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, if we're visiting these people and they say no, it's okay. We can ask, all right, why not? The same way there's an iceberg of people in our ward, there's also an iceberg of concerns. And you can learn about that in Preach My Gospel, chapter 10. And sometimes the people we're talking to, they don't even know their concerns. They don't know why they're saying no. And when you ask them, okay, why not? Then they'll give you a response. You'll be tempted to dive in and respond. But I would invite you to wait, hold back and say, okay, what else? What else? That way they can share more of their concerns with you. And I've been in these before, where you invite this person to heed the call of the Lord, they say no, and then you say, okay, why not? And they start sharing with you. And then they start venting, and they're sharing, and they're venting, and they're saying things they don't even realize that they've had bottled up. And by the end, they feel so much better because they've shared all of their concerns with you. They're like, you know what? I'm going to go back to church this Sunday. And the work is done because you took the time to listen to their concerns. And it may be, like we said, we only want to take 5 minutes of their time. If they share their concerns with us, we may say, thank you for sharing your concerns with us. Can we set a time to come back and address your concerns? That gives us time to come back, to think, to pray, to study the scriptures, and come back with an informed response. Does that make sense? So it's 2 simple steps. The first one is we tell them the truth. And the truth is, God made them for a specific reason. He needs them. And He needs their talents at this time. And you invite them to heed the call of the Lord.
Let me just add on.
Yeah.
I just want to say we have 4 elders in the ward, and so go ahead and set specific appointments. We can get ward missionaries there. We can get our elders there. So feel free to set actual appointments and just report it back.
Perfect. And in this sheet that you have today, you can report back. I want you all to take a moment to practice this and to practice inviting your neighbor as if you were inviting them back to church. Tell them the truth. They are unique. They have talents that we need at this time. Will they heed the call of the Lord? And then Tell them they need to come and partake of the sacrament and talk to Bishop so they can get a calling. Okay? Any concerns? All right, practice. The training has come to a close. It's time to go out and see the miracles come to pass. I want to thank you all for your attention. And I want you to know that you can do the impossible. Baptizing weekly, creating a continuous cycle of conversion, helping many to come back to church. These are all things that are possible. And I know they're possible because I've seen it. I've seen a small congregation go from 20 people to 120 in a period of just 6 months. I've seen entire chapels constructed because the church was growing so quickly. And I have seen young men rally together and bring 20 people to Christ in a very short amount of time. And many more miracles that I could describe. Now, I can tell you of 20 people coming and that becoming 120 in 6 months. And I can tell you those numbers. But those numbers are like a map, right? I can't tell you what it's like to be there, to see that happen, to see a small branch go from 20 to 120. There's all these miracles that happen. And each of those people that are coming back are all individuals. And they bring with them their hopes, their desires, their dreams. And as we bring all these people into the gospel, it powers and propels us to go even further than we could ever dream before. You, missionaries, members, youth, you will take missionary work into the future. You will create new possibilities. And I want to tell you what happens when you create a new possibility. In 2020, our ward was struggling like everyone was, right? We were all in our homes. We couldn't go out. There were so many things we couldn't do. Our missionaries were cooped up. But we refused to retreat. We went forward. We set high goals. And we went out and helped others to come unto Christ. And what I showed you today, this continuous cycle of conversion, this took place in our ward. And you know what happened? Missionaries who came into our ward, we started out with 2 missionaries. We ended up growing to like 6 missionaries. And all these missionaries that came in, they saw that anything was possible. And I told them, I said, there are people the Lord is preparing all around wherever you go. You can find those people. And they started going to areas like Malibu, California, right? You have this perception of Malibu. You don't think people are into the gospel there. And they found families to teach and baptize. They went to places like Bel Air, places where you would think they would snuff the missionaries, that you couldn't get in past the houses, but they found people to baptize. I don't care what area you're in. The Lord is preparing people for you. I know this is possible. And as you create this possibility, it will spread within your mission. In 2020, the Los Angeles mission was the highest baptizing mission in the entire northwestern area. From below San Diego all the way over to Alaska and everything in between, our missionaries were doing something special. And that is what I've brought with you here today. But my hope is that you take this even further and you prove and leave all doubt behind and prove that anything is possible. Jesus Christ showed this. He showed us we can walk on, amen, thank you. Jesus Christ showed us we can walk on water. And I promise you that as you go forward in faith, mountains will move for you. Rivers will change their course, as it says in D&C. Now, will this be hard? It'll require all your heart, might, mind, and strength. But it's worth it. Now, before we go out and experience these miracles and begin to see the miracles that the Lord has prepared for us, I want to do an ancient missionary tradition, which is the Hurrah for Israel shout. And I want you to give each other energy as we do this. We're going to do this 3 times. I'm going to say Hurrah for Israel, and I want you to respond. And when you say hurrah for Israel, I want you to say it like you are a warrior of God, because that is exactly what you are. I want you to say it like a warrior. I want you to feel the lightning in your veins. I want you to feel the power of the Lord in your bones as you say this. All right? Hurrah for Israel! 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 That is my training for you. Let's go out and see these miracles. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.